Hey guys, hope you're having a fantastic day. Welcome to the show. So, on today's show, I have my wonderful friend Dale. Dale is a fantastic coach, and we're going to dive in and find out a little bit more about the type of behind the curtains, really, who he is as a guy, and give me a chance as well to find out a little bit more about him. He lives in a place called Rugby, which, if you don't know where it is, it's somewhere between Manchester and London, I think.
It's somewhere in England somewhere.
Somewhere in
In the
England.
middle, in the middle.
That's right.
Just throw a
So
dart. You're there.
here's the thing. I first met Dale, I think it was around March 2018.
Mm.
And that was when we were both part of a high-level coaching program that helped other world-class coaches build their businesses. In fact, twice we've shared a place together. First in San Diego when we were attending a coach's mastermind. And that was such a fun time. And the second time was actually when we were attending Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power event. And that was just earlier in March 2019. And I think on both times, Dale was such a great help showing me how to use Uber and organizing all the logistics and arranging the Airbnbs. Isn't that right?
That's completely false.
Actually,
That was you, bro.
yes,
I was the one getting up early to get to the front of the queue with the Tony Robbins. That was
that's right. That
yeah.
was me. You're welcome.
Yeah.
So, Dale, welcome.
Well,
Welcome.
thank you for having me, bro. It's an absolute honor. I love spending time with you. Despite you being over the side of England, it's really cool that we can hang out and just do this organically and just chill and just talk like normal human beings. Although I'm a little bit hurt really that you say you need to get to know me more after spending copious amounts of nights together. You still feel like, I feel this is a very one-sided relationship.
There's
I know.
always another level of intimacy there.
Well,
There's always
let's be careful because I'm sure our wives or girlfriends are going to be watching this.
So, it's great. Here's Dale's bio. He's a high energy life rider designed to empower young minds. Now, I think we really have to start there. A high energy life rider designed to empower young minds. Unpack that for us, Dale. What does that mean?
That means a role model that does whatever I want to do as long as it sticks in with my values. That makes sense. Let me break it down a little bit further. So I like to be a role model for kids that feel as if that is their one-track life to go.
Okay.
The children that haven't even planned a future, the children that haven't even planned a goal. And if they do plan a goal, to give them the faith and encouragement and motivation to go ahead and do it. Even the ones as well, especially the ones that have had a really, really hard time and are currently struggling right now. So for me, one of my dreams was to travel the world, and I didn't really have the resources to do that because I was kind of locked into a job. And as you and me both know, job stands for just over broke. And I just wasn't free. I was a caged bird. We'll get deeper into my story in a moment. However, I found an opportunity to get out of my job, which was teaching, and do what I'm doing now, which I completely love, and just fall in love with it. And that gives me the freedom to travel around the world whenever I want to. And it's just amazing, mate. And I really want to be the inspiration for kids because I want them to experience so many crazy things. The world's too big a place to be stuck in one area. And B, to have the confidence to go out there and just do whatever they want to do without anybody else's beliefs or feedback about them that are going to push them down. That makes sense?
It does, absolutely.
Cool.
And that's massively inspiring. And that's not something that our kind of career advisor in college would have had on the table for us when we were doing interviews. So
because that's safe. It's what they talk about is safety, security, which is cool. And I get that. If that's one of your values, then that's something you should aim for. I'm not saying that, do what I do, it's better than people get into a job. Absolutely not. If you want a job that you fall in love with, then epic. If you wake up every Monday hating the Monday just because you don't want to be in your job, then you need a new job, mate. You just need a new job. You need to do something different. If you wake up every Monday working for somebody else's dream and putting money in their pocket, but you love it and you can give and you can receive so much, then crack on and do that. It's not, there's no one way about it. Success is relative.
Sure.
Mm.
Now, you mentioned about your background before, and I really like to dig into that, Dale, to get to where you are today. I mean, what would you say are the kind of the highlights or the significant events in your life that have got you to where you are now and doing what you're doing?
Pain, really, pain. So a lot of pain. I was very young the first time I got bullied. I didn't know how to act. I didn't know how to experience. I didn't know what to do. So I hid it and neglected from telling people that. So bullying, the stereotypical things, being tripped up in the corridor, being pushed around, being psychologically influenced to bring your toys into school, and then the children take it from you, being made to eat spit in burgers, stand on dog mess, the usual things. And I just felt like I couldn't break free from that. I was also, this is a fun memory for me. I was also had to stand in the middle of a field and be the rugby tackle bag for kids that were part of the rugby team. Being a skinny kid, I couldn't really stand up to them because I think at the time I just wanted to make friends. So I thought, oh, okay, I'll sacrifice what I want and believe to make friends. Obviously, that wasn't my thought process. I was quite young. It was more like, oh, I want to be friends, so let's do what they want to do, and then maybe they'll like me. So that carried on. And then one thing that I am so ashamed of to this, I've got through this now, so I'm not, it's not in control of me. But I was so afraid of was actually turning into the bully. And this is very common. So when a child that's being bullied turns into the bully, they model what the bullies were doing to them, and they do it to other people because they don't want it to ever to happen to them again. And it's based on a foundation of insecurity. And that's what I was going through, and that's what I did. So I turned into the bully. And I can honestly say that was where I was at the most pain compared to being bullied. Because I hated myself. I hate myself even more for putting other people through pain. It's just like, it's a strange human instinct. I can't describe it. And that gave me a sense of entitlement. That gave me a sense of arrogance, if you will, overconfidence, cockiness, and that threaded throughout the entirety of my life. And that led me to want to impress more people and show off and be the center of attention, which, okay, fine. Sometimes that does creep in a little bit, but I like to say it's for the right reasons. But I don't put anyone down, which is what I did in the past. And I thought I was good. Yay, I'm confident now, I'm okay. Because I was a bully, now I'm not a bully, so I'm okay. But what I've learned from that is that I'm confident no one can pick on me because I'm strong. And that was false, because it led me to quite a sedentary lifestyle in regard to hardship, very sedentary, until there was a time when I lost my job, which is okay. I mean, it's not good. And, when that happens, you can find another job, I'm sure. But then again, 2 weeks later, I had a car crash, and that's, you had a car crash, so things are, you can get through it, you recover, you heal. That's the whole body's designed to heal. That's okay. But straight after losing your job, it's a bit like, oof, another knockdown. And then I found out that my partner of 5 years was having an affair and seeing other men behind my back. So that was her thing she was dealing with. And that really knocked my mojo, My confidence was completely zilch. And then a month later, my mom had a heart attack, and it just felt like things were just building and building and building. I'm just thinking, oh, now every single thing was piling on top of me. I just was pushing myself down. And I'm a man, right? So I can't share my feelings. I couldn't share my feelings with people. My friends were saying, hey, you okay, dude? Lots happened. So, yeah, I'm sound, mate. I'm fine. I can cope with this. It's all good. Which was a lie. It wasn't all good at all. It's quite the opposite.
And did you know that at the time when you were saying that you were fine? Did you know that you weren't coping?
No, it was an automatic response. It was an automatic response. So that was, no, I'm fine. It was as if I was a cyborg or a robot. It wasn't me. I felt maybe at the time I couldn't delve deep into my vulnerabilities. I didn't know how to explore that, which is one thing that I coach as well. So one thing I coach is to help children, in particular boys, release their vulnerabilities, but know how to do it in a confident state. So that happened. And then because of I was lost, I had to pay the mortgage by myself, I didn't know what to do. I I know you want to punch me around the face right now for what I'm about to say, but I got back with my ex-partner for doing what she did over the course of the 5 years. And this is finding out that we weren't traveling together, and she snuck out of my tent to be with another guy in another tent. And it goes a lot more detailed than that, but there were quite some horrific things that a man should not endure, really, if he's got any form of self-pride or self-confidence or self-respect, which I didn't, because I was still operating from the bully, cocky, arrogant mentality. So I got back with her, and not a month later, she fell pregnant with another man's baby, and that really broke me. It really broke me down. And obviously, so the person didn't want anything to do with it. I felt a responsibility for some reason. My dad's always taught me to do the right thing, despite how painful it is for you and your sanity and your mind. You've got to do the right thing. So we did something of which I don't. It depends on the situation, but I don't 100% disagree with. But I do 100% disagree with it. I'm kind of like on a paradigm or a paradox, and that's have an abortion and terminate this child, knowing that it wasn't mine, but I just felt like I felt responsible. And that was a thing that completely shattered me. It absolutely shattered me into smithereens. I didn't want to get out of bed. I left her. I said, enough's enough. I can't be with you. Just go away. I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to train. Friends was, asking me how I was. Again, it was a fine response. Until, and this is why it's so poignant that you and I went to Tony Robbins, because I was just messing around on YouTube, and the Tony Robbins video came up, and I thought, oh, who's this guy? And it was as if he was speaking directly to me. And it's as if he sucked out of my victim mentality. And you, in this life, you're a freaking miracle. And then I explored a bit deeper and heard Mel Robbins' story about being a miracle. And I thought, this is pretty cool. I need help. I don't know how to do this by myself. So I sought the help of a coach, and he was an incredible man, not local. And basically, to cut a long story short, he helped completely thrive, boost up, and energize my confidence. And it was real confidence as well. And there was something missing. I thought, yes, it's cool, but there was that 1% that was missing. And it's something that I had to do by myself and for myself as well. And that was, when I was younger, I always wanted to be on a game show, a TV game show, after watching Total Wipeout and Ninja Warrior. The Japanese version of Ninja Warrior, just fell in love with it. So what did I do, Andy? Well, I applied for Ninja Warrior. Not once, not twice, 3 times. Didn't get on any of the times. I had to wait each year. It was a long process. And I felt like I was going to give up. So I applied. On the 3rd time, I was like, you know what, we'll see what happens. It's very, very full. Sorry, you've been unsuccessful. And then I got a call and said, Dale, we love your video. We'd like you to apply for this show instead. And it was called Cannonball. And now Cannonball was hosted by Freddie Flintoff, Frankie from the Saturdays, a few of the famous celebs as well. The girlfriend of a famous rapper over here, Stormzy, Maya Jama. She's doing her own thing now, which is really cool. And thought, okay, I'll go for this. Yeah, sure. What's it entail? So I went through the trials, passed all them, went through the interview, passed all that. And then I got a phone call whilst I was walking my little dog Oswald, and they said, Dale, we'd love to invite you to Malta. Would you like to come? I said, absolutely, I'd love to come. Let's go. So everything was all paid for. I was really excited. I know this is going to be the turning point for me. And I sat on the plane and we're flying over there. And I had 4 thoughts to go through my head. Number 1 was, I can be whoever I want to be. No one knows all of the stuff I've been through. No one knows that I'm actually not very confident, and it's all fake. So I'm going to be big. I'm going to be confident. I'm going to talk to as many people as I possibly can. I'm just going to fake it. I'm going to fake my confidence. And my coach said every day you should have at least 3 intentions. So for this particular game show, my 3 intentions were to have fun, have so much fun, meet cool people, meet a girl, because I couldn't even look at a girl, let alone speak to a girl after going through what happened, and to aim for the top, and be happy with the result, whatever the result. Okay, so those are my intentions. Those are my 3 intentions, and the first one was just fake the confidence no one will ever know. And I had an abundance of fun. It was ridiculous. I had so much fun. You're in Malta, you're meeting new people, you're doing these crazy Total Wipeout style games, and it was water-based activities, and it was I was in my element, Andy. I was in my element. It was wicked. And second intention, her name was Lauren. I met Lauren and she was fantastic. It was a firework relationship. We kind of initiated everything whilst I was on the game show, and it was just crazy. And it was almost as if I manifested it, because after all I went through, I said, like, I want a girl with blonde hair and blue eyes. That's what I want. She had green eyes, so I could let that one slip. And she was so fierce and powerful and strong and wonderful and fun and vibrant. And that's exactly what I needed at the time. Like I said, a firework relationship. And the last intention was to win. And again, to put a long story short, it was almost as if the whole day was a journey of my life. I won the first activity and I thought, I can relax now, it's okay. Got really cocky and arrogant on the next two activities, lost them. And the last one, I heard that I got knocked down to third place. So we had to do was win one activity to go through to the final. And I'll tell you what, I'll share some videos with you as well, so people can click on this on YouTube. So they just click on the link and they can get taken to it, so they can see what I'm talking about. Sure. And the last one, I had to beat a surfer chick. In fact, you know Lucy from Love Island. I don't watch Love Island. I don't watch it, but Lucy was on it. She was the one that was competing as well. She's a surfer. She's fantastic. I had to beat her. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to have faith and believe in myself and know exactly what I have to do. None of this arrogant, showy off malarkey. Let's just go for it. I did it, won, got through to the final. Wicked. Really, really cool. Went home, got thrown out again. And the activity was you were 3 stories high, 3 buildings high. You had to swing off a rope and land in the middle of these big rings. And it was like in water. And again, I was a bit cocky and I missed. I was like, oh, okay. And I was against 2 other people. I was last. And then I landed in the middle on the second swing, which was cool. That circle was moving. I'll show you. You'll understand when you see it. And I was second. And then the circle shrank by 50% and it was moving a lot more. I had to land in that to win the whole show. I had to land in that, especially after telling the producers before the event that I was going to win. I had no option. So, Dad, you're going to win. Absolutely going to win. It's a bit arrogant. It's not arrogant. It's self-belief. I know that I'm going to win. I'm going to do everything I can to win. And it was tense. I breathed. I just believed in myself. I released all the tension and just swung and just landed directly on that yellow diamond circle starry thing and won the whole game show. And no one else. It was just amazing, and it was exactly what I needed to get through what I went through at the time. That was my 1% that actually gave me the massive boost in my life to keep going and to give me that real confidence. And looking back now, I thought, was I actually faking my confidence, or was that the real me shining out? Was that the real me that was being projected just there?
Right.
And it was definitely the real me, dude, because I make sure that I infuse that in my daily meditation, morning meditation, to get ready throughout the day. And it's about being authentically real you, and not care what everyone thinks. So in fact, a wise man once told me that the opposite of confidence is
Was that
self-conscious? Yeah. So the opposite of confidence is what?
Self-consciousness.
Self-consciousness, exactly.
There you go.
By the way, Andy was the wise man. People are watching this and told me. So the absence of self-consciousness, that's real confidence, if you will.
That's great. Wow. Dale, what a story there. I mean, there's lots that you went through clearly, and then that kind of rise from it's like turning the mess into a message, right? You know, and you said that you had a lot of bad things that happened, and it happened in a short space of time, and it really caused you to kind of evaluate a lot of stuff. And you said you hit rock bottom. I mean, looking back now, what are the kind of lessons that you learned from those things? Like, do you understand like the motivation behind the reasons why you made particular decisions in the past? Like, for example, getting back with your ex after you found out that she was being unfaithful to you. You mentioned.
Sorry, buddy, that was fear. that was fear, looking under the shield of, I'm going to forgive her for me. I'm going to forgive her for me. That's something that I want to do. But no, it was, I was scared. It was more, it was a bit more clinical than that as well, really. I mean, I was scared to be alone. And the clinical side of it, I couldn't afford to pay the mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to think of a way, because obviously I didn't have a job. I was starting my new venture, and this happened. I couldn't afford it by myself, and that was the nuts and crannies of it, really. I didn't really want to be alone. After spending 5 years with somebody, you're attached to them in some way, shape, or form, despite what happens, and that was false for me. If I had a bit more self-respect or self-awareness, then I would have found another way, which I did eventually.
Sure. Okay. That's great. Dale, I'm going to ask you another question right now. What do you think, how do you know that where you are now and who you are now is the authentic you, having gone through everything that you've gone through? I mean, see, my assumption here is that we're always doing the best that we can from whatever level of awareness that we're acting from. You know, back then when you were younger, as you're going through those testing times, the choices that you're making seem to be for self-preservation, for survival, right?
Yes.
And you learned that from how other people survived, like the bullies, and you would model the bullies. And you look for ways to kind of protect yourself and make sure that you're set up to be okay in the long term. But now, how do you know the choices that you're making now? You know, what's the motivation behind them? How do you keep that in check? And how do you remain real to yourself?
Responsibility is the reason why I am there. So responsibility is my motivation. Being a coach of children, I've got, it's more than a responsibility. It's more, is it a calling? Is it impact? Is it purpose? Is it passion? Just pour them in a melting pot and come up with a word. That's what it is. I feel as if I have to, yet want to be authentically confident in myself to show other people, other children that are looking up to me for guidance. So yeah, it's a responsibility. It's a really good question. How do I know? I don't. But the responsibility and the nurture of young minds these days is going to propel me forward to do the best I possibly can to show up for them, because you do not know who you're influencing right now. I mean, I could be sitting here right now just like this, and I could have my feet on the table, and I could be just doing this, and the kid could walk past and think, "Oh, that's okay to do that," or I could be sitting in a different way. You don't know who you're influencing, so it's a responsibility for me. That being said, that was recognised by being invited to the Role Model Awards in England, which is super cool, and being nominated for Best Leader. I thought, wow, that's something else. That's amazing. I've been recognised for this, so clearly I feel like I'm definitely on the right path. So I'd say that it's a belief, and I'd say that it's a responsibility. An honor as well, really.
Yeah. I mean, in a sense, you're still, as we all are, regardless of where we are in life, we're always still doing the best that we can.
Yeah.
Except we're just doing it with a lot more experience and self-awareness and a much more better understanding of ourselves. And maybe we've worked through some stuff where we're able to acknowledge and accept some of the unhelpful motivations that have driven our behavior in the past.
Yes.
And now we're able to be free of that, right? And you mentioned one of the things was fear for you. So that's awesome. That's so good. Have you ever noticed that, do you think that what you're doing now, and as I'm hearing your story, your powerful story, do you think that what you're doing now is perhaps connected to well, it is, but much more intrinsically connected to your experience as a kid, that you're almost coaching or trying to look after the young Dale?
You've hit the nail on the head. In fact, one of the things that I say to adults or parents that I have the honor of them investing in me and investing in their child is, I am the person who I wanted when I was younger. So I wanted me when I was 6, when I was 8, 10, 12, 14. I wanted me to speak to me and tell me, hey, you know, there are other options.
Mm.
There are other feelings. You got this, bro.
Mm. So cool.
And it's a paradox thing, because if those things didn't happen to me, I wouldn't be having this conversation with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so blessed that these things happen. I'm so blessed for the mess.
Mm-hmm.
That's the mess.
Mm-hmm.
Because without it, I wouldn't be living my true life. I mean, just serving these children. And the other day I got 6 handmade cards saying thank you, and then they're saying, Dale, you're amazing, because there's this. Oh my gosh, it's like, that's the real currency. And then then they take that home and show their parents, and there's more pride, and it just builds and it spreads, and they talk about me and talk about how proud they are of themselves, and I get to do this by being free as well. I've traveled a lot this year. You know, I've traveled a lot this year.
Seeing your very nice Instagram, Facebook page, very exotic.
It's very exotic, and I feel as if I truly deserve that. And I'm still giving everything I possibly can. Even when I'm away, I'm leaving little video messages for my mini clients that I call them. It's just to check in with them and say, hey, look, I'm here. My lesson today was this. Oh my gosh, nobody want to play volleyball with me today. Oh, but that's okay, because I managed to make some new friends doing something they wanted to do, and I learned a new skill, and that's really, really cool. So, and then we go on to a metaphor, because kids learn through stories or metaphors.
Yeah.
A lot more easier than the psychological side of things.
Yeah.
But no, you are right. I'm talking to a younger Dale.
That's so cool. And like we all face some sort of adversity, you know, people and people who have never gone through, they think much adversity is because somebody else around them has gone through adversity so that they don't have to themselves. But let's take the first scenario where a lot of us have gone through some tough stuff. And you mentioned, you know, car crash, your mom having a heart attack, losing your job. How, in a nutshell, Dale, how would you say that you got out? What was your approach to that? What was your way of looking at it that made you come down this path versus another? Because, you know, there are lots of people out there who really struggle to come out of bad situations, and it ends up consuming them and absorbing them, taking the joy out of life for a long time, and it becomes something that's kind of all encompassing, and actually to the extreme of being identified by that one thing or two things, those bad things that have happened. How have you turned it around in a nutshell? What would you say that your approach was to that?
Curiosity, essentially. Curiosity, and you are not defined by any of your experiences. You are not defined by what happens to you. And the fact that everything is in your control. And when I say that, a lot of people say, no, you control nothing. Well, I'm just saying everything's in your control, everything, because you determine whether or not how you receive that information. So when I went through that adversity, I, at the time, wasn't facing up to it. I wasn't being vulnerable to it. I wasn't allowing it to happen. I wasn't processing it. I was hiding from it. And that's something I've always done. Hide from it. And yeah, you probably noticed that with that little body language cue just there. It's bringing back a few memories. And when they changed, because I was just curious as to think, how does this thing work? What is it that this guy on this video just spoke to me and made me feel this way? So I wanted to do my own research and find out a little bit more. So it's curiosity, and from that it led to, you know, self-appreciation, self-respect, self-actualization, self-love, understanding, growth, and it was more attractive than being a victim. In a nutshell.
Sure.
It's a big nutshell, sorry.
It's a big nutshell. No, that's great. Curiosity. I like it. I really, really like it. That's awesome. Dale, so as we kind of wrap up, I have one kind of final question for you here.
Fire.
How would you like to have more impact?
Oh, my word, Andy. I want to be on stage in America. I want to do UPW, Tony Robbins events, but for kids. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing now. So I'm the leader of the Young Esteem Summit, or the Yes Summit, because I really want to infuse this to everybody. I want to give the tools to people. The reason why it took me such a long time to crawl out of my hole going through the hardship is because I didn't have the tools up here. This is why I teach what I teach to the children, to give them the mental tools, the most important tools, so to say they can cope with anything. It's a choice, and obviously there's processes and steps. So I've got a 12-week course that I do. I've got an online 12-week course as well, which is just in development, which I'm doing. My Young Esteem Summits, which are designed for children. It's like a festival kind of vibe. So it's like a confidence threaded throughout the festival, live music, speakers, martial arts and self-defense on the outside as well as the inside, conflict management, all the you've tongue-tied me, dude, because I want to do so much. But I'd say, to break it down, is for me to be present right now, to check in with myself. It would be to have one-on-one coaching with as many people as I possibly can, to go online and speak to as many people as I can, to influence and impact as many people as I can with events. Like, I'd love to have Tony Robbins style event where there's thousands of kids in a room just on beanbags, and we're just loving life. Parents can come as well. We can have a whole parents half day. The kids can explore in the inflatable pits or make friends and whatever it may be. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Sounds epic.
I really, and there's another thing as well, actually, Andy, before I let you go. I want to do retreats. So I've formulated an idea in my mind right now for fathers and sons. I'm not going to give you the name of it just yet. It's a cool name. But I've got a name and an idea where we can take fathers and sons that have had that disconnect, to bring them back together again, get them lost in a jungle in Bali or a forest in Scotland or wherever, the slopes of Canada. And they've disconnected from online, and they've just got to be with themselves and understand each other and get a certain task done. And it's them against another father and son, and another against another father and son. And in the end, they all come together and they will make. I just want to spread the love of self to as many young minds as possible. Why? Because they're going to respect everything that they have. And one passion I am so passionate about is the love for the planet as well. Mm. So when we see children, I want them to grow up in a world that I grew up in, full of wildlife, full of colour, full of vibrance, not dark, dingy grey, ice, cats, mountain, and animals unfortunately becoming extinct. So if I was to give them the love, self-love, then that will reflect on other people, even in a relationship. You know, when someone truly loves themselves, they can truly love another, and they can truly love their space and love their environment that they're in. And it's just to completely expand the love in the world and empowerment of self.
So good, Dale. I love, what a great answer to that. And I just want to thank you, Dale. A lot of times as we grow up, we find ourselves in situations that we don't feel we have control in. being bullied and being teased, discrimination, I've experienced those things as well. It's not pleasant. For you to be able to, at some point, really take ownership of those things and then turn it in a way where it's not just something that you've made peace with, but you've really used it as a platform or a catalyst to almost build your new vision and your purpose. I mean, it's come out of the things that you've gone through, the tough times. So, I love the way that you're sharing these things. I'm sure at some point they were uncomfortable to share. I think I've recognized that because of your mission, your vision, that really overrides the uncomfortableness now. And you realize you almost have to share that to be the role model that you want to be, to encourage other people, to let them know that they're not alone going through these things, to let them know that there's another way and another path. So thank you, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on the show. Thank you so much for really devoting yourself to really who are the future generation of leaders in this country and beyond.
Yeah.
They're the game changers.
Yeah.
They're the people that are going to make the big decisions, and you're investing in them. And it's good to know that we have someone like you doing that kind of thing.
No, it's good. It's great to be around like-minded people, buddy, because without you and this platform, then this message wouldn't be shared. So, dude, I'm receiving your compliment kindly with both hands. And I'm saying, without people like you in the world that give, it will just be lost. You've motivated me, but dude, you've motivated me to carry on. There's little things that you say. I hope there's going to be an Andy versus Andy on one of these shows. Are you going to explore yourself?
That would be funny. I would make that work.
There's a way. There's definitely a way. I'll teach you how to do that. Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, I'll let you go. We'll speak soon. Thank you so much again, Dale.
Take care, brother. Be awesome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.